All right, today we will be covering Zephyr. I don't believe it's the issue right now, but I remember she was probably one of the least used frames. I think that might have changed. But anyways, for the longest time, I could never understand why people don't use her. I think it's a lot of this mentality where, if you notice my builds where I'm making builds that aren't just for, you know, particular situations, but builds that are going, hey, no matter where you throw this build, no matter what mission type or anything like that, that you're going to survive, or you're gonna have a great chance of surviving, or actually be a great help to the team, regardless of whatever it is. And I feel like a lot of people think, damage is like a big thing, but it's really not. And Zephyr is a clear example for that, and I think that's maybe why a lot of people didn't use her. But like always, let me know in comments, what you think of my videos as well. If you want to see, frames that you want to cover next. Because right now I'm using frames in order-ish of what I use a lot. And unless you want to see something, if you let me know, I'll probably just cover it if you actually name one in the comments below. But anyways, going over the build, I do focus heavily on duration. The reason why I do that for this build is, particularly for her skill 3, Turbulence, which the longer it lasts, the better, less downtime, and it does have a slower cast in between, which I'll explain a little bit after this, after I kind of go over everything. And then my second thing is range. Again, like you'll notice with all my builds, duration and range are my big things. The reason why I have the longer duration with Energy Siphon is, if you guys don't happen to already know, is you can actually do a permanent invisibility Loki build, where with Energy Siphon and with a long enough duration, you don't have to pick up energy with them. You cast it, and the Energy Siphon energy regen you get back, you could just stand still and you'll have more than enough energy to actually cast invisibility again. So unless there is a Leech Eximus or some other way you lose energy, which I think is unless you cast another ability that's not invisibility, you'll always have energy to cast invisibility. So that was something I was kind of going for here. It's not a 100%, I will always have enough energy to cast it. But honestly, you need at least one orb. As long as you pick up one orb, and as long as you don't cast any other abilities, if you actually focus on skill 3, you'll always have enough energy and not have to worry about anything. So my big thing, again, duration, and then range was trying to get that as much up as possible, because range makes especially skill 3, as well as the other skills, work very well. So I definitely wanted to squeeze as much out, which is why I stuck with Cunning Drift. So as you notice, all of these are going to be for duration. Obviously, range doesn't really, you don't need range. Her skill 4 actually just kind of goes out to the closest enemies anyway, so range is not that big of a deal. It probably only affects her skill 2. So, and obviously her skill 3, but that's why I kind of I make up for that as best I can. But really, it's just probably your skill 2, which is probably going to be hurting the most from that. And then obviously any efficiencies helpful, more range, more duration, more range, because you don't really need strength. You don't need it. Vitality, I focus on vitality more now. Again, because a lot of weapons I bring, if I'm going for something, I'm always bringing something that's going to give me health back. I think Vitality is a lot more helpful than Shields, until they do that shield gating thing. Right now, Vitality is a lot more helpful to me. And then Aviator, because, she has her passive where she can be in the air a lot longer, and having that damage reduction, if you guys don't fight in the air, something I highly recommend. And it's really fun with her because how much longer she can stay in the air. And just moving around more. I think she's a lot more interesting to actually move around with, just because she gets a lot more distance than a lot of other people. As you can see, she's really got some nice control, and I love the distance, like being able to navigate maps. It's hard to get used to, especially if you don't use her often, because of just that floatiness she has to her, but absolutely amazing. So kind of it's going to be a little bit different this time. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you all the different weapon types and how they can actually work very well against. So obviously what we'll do is, like always, we'll start with our Corrupted Bombards. Now, obviously I'm not going to be killing these guys. As you notice, I have the lens. I've been trying to level that up. I've formatted it a couple times, playing around with it. But this is just all demonstration. Do is we'll go over there, fly into a wall, Just want to get in front of their faces. So you'll notice they're shooting at me. Their rockets going everywhere, but not me. So the one thing you kind of want to worry about, and I think it only with hit scan weapons it's not an issue, is that they can't get in front of your face. If they get in front of your face, they'll start hitting you, and that's a no-no. But other than that, as long as with rockets are probably only your biggest problem you have to worry about, is especially if you're in close quarters, like if you're near a wall or you're in between, you know, if you're in a small space, those rockets can reflect. And even though you're reflecting them, if they go near a wall like you just saw right there, and that's close enough to you, you're gonna get hit, and you're probably gonna die on higher levels. So big thing is, as far as with rockets, again, probably your only issue is just make sure you keep your distance, and you'll be perfectly fine. As you notice, I haven't taken a single hit. So what I'll do is I will go over here, and I'm going to be mashing the skill 3 button, and actually realize I don't have energy. What I wanted to explain, though, too, is, again, why I focus a lot on... I died. is why I focus a lot on duration, is that her skill 3 has a delay in, like, the casting. So even, like, the second it ends, you could be mashing your skill 3 button, and it's not going to happen right away. It has about a second or so delay, and that can get you, it's actually gotten me killed plenty of times in the heat of battle before I really started to figure out, you know, what the hell is going on. Is you definitely want to make sure you kind of get out of that situation, or quickly, you know, right when it runs out, maybe go for like a roll or bullet jump, and then immediately cast it, because you can cast it in the air, you can cast it right at the end of a roll. So the big thing is that you want to really do that, and then, so as you notice, she has to pull her hand out and then put it to her chest. That's the time. So that's always why I want to kind of get some distance, or kind of get the enemy disoriented really quick, or be in the air to cast it, so that even if you happen to take a bullet, you do have that 40% reduction to damage, which helps a lot. That's probably the really only iffy thing with her, is that skill 3 having that, you know, like second or so to actually cast it. You know, I'm gonna save these guys for last. These guys are absolutely fun to watch. They are a light show. That is all I could say. They are a beautiful light show. Let's do some heavy gunners. These are fantastic. Hit scan. You think hit scan would be a problem? Actually, zero of a problem. You're actually more likely to get hit by a rocket or a corpus laser, like weapon, than one of these guys. So what I'll do is let me actually roll here, get out of the way, cast it. So no matter how close these guys get, I think unless their barrel is inside of me, they are not. Nothing's gonna happen. Not gonna get hit. Just their shockwaves are gonna hit me, but not their actual bullets. I can get right, and I basically look bulletproof. So that was a little bit too close. I got like a little like touch. The gun with the barrel was touching me. So it's, as long as like their guns aren't actually physically touching you with the barrels, you're gonna be fine. It looks like it actually looked like maybe one bullet squeezed by there. But that's the thing. That's why range is important too, because if you have a short range, you're more likely to actually get hit by those bullets. And it's weird. It's weird how the skill works. Range is very important, but then you also kind of want that duration on top of it too. But the range is going to prevent all those bullets from hitting you. Even if they're really close, the range helps. Even though you're like, okay, why are you talking about range if they're right in front of your face and you're still blocking it? It's weird. The ability is a weird. Range is extremely important, so don't get that mistaken. One of my, obviously always sometimes an issue, these corpus guys who just hit tons of damage. So we did rockets, we did hit scan, and now we're doing laser, and then we'll end this with a fun little continuous laser. So like always got to kind of test out the skills. I always use skill 4. Skill 4 is just kind of weird anyway. I always use it when there's more clustered enemies. If they're kind of all over the place, skill 4 is not too reliable, because it will just kind of pick the closest enemies. Usually what I like to do is, if it's a defense target, if there's not any enemies around, I'll cast it right in front of the target so the tornadoes are closer to it. Again, skill 2, I don't use it much, but it's kind of good if the enemies are near you. You can dive bomb, knock them over. And then skill 1 just for travel. Being able to travel around, get to where you need to be, get to that extraction as fast as you can. But as you saw, lasers, not an issue. And then last but not least, we will end this with some light show. What I'll actually do too is sure kill whatever's there. Let's try to get a little bit of different kind of lasers here. We'll get a couple of these guys. Where are they? Ah, here you are. A couple of these guys. And we'll just kind of do it that. Just to kind of show you some continuous laser weapons here. Make sure to cast Turbulence, obviously. I'm an idiot. I should have not had Orican fighting the Corpus. That was a stupid mistake on my part. I should have thought better. So what we'll do is we'll just do we'll do Corrupted Moas. They're fun. And I do a lot of Void, so alright, let's go back over these guys. So even need to think like, oh, maybe continuous lasers. No. I think one's up in my face. Well, they're almost behind me. I couldn't see them. So yes, as long as they're not directly on top of... I'm freaking out. They're getting a little bit too close. They're getting a little too close to me. As long as they're not directly on top of you, you will be perfectly fine. And you basically have a beautiful light show going on. So, perfect example of why I think a lot of people need to play Zephyr a lot more. She doesn't have the damage, but she sure as hell has the survivability. All in there. Oh, man. Wow, absolutely just destroyed them. This is why I usually like to wait till they're grouped together. Because, you know, all the tornadoes stay clustered, and then they stay clustered, and then you just have free reign to do whatever you like. But anyways, that'll be the end of this episode. And I will see you guys next time.